Goobers, and welcome back to class. Today we are going to be learning about statistics and specifically about random samples. So before we start, we have a couple definitions to go over. The first one is population. So when dealing with statistics, the population is the whole group that you want to find information on. The whole group you want to find information on. Now, for the most part, this population is going to be a large amount of people. Sometimes it can be small, but for the most part, it is a large amount. So, more often than not, you can't find the opinion or the information on every single part of the population. So we have something called a sample. The sample is a part of the population used to gather information on the population. So we're going to use this sample to make estimates of the rest of the population. So it is the part of the population used to gather information about the population. So, a huge part of population and samples is that we want to try to get a random sample, meaning we're not trying to pick out specific people or specific things to change the data. Instead, a random sample is when each portion of the population, or person, or object, or just portion of the population in general, has an equal chance of being in the sample. Where each portion of the population has an equal chance of being in the sample. So regardless of who they are, what they look like, where they are, they always have an equal opportunity to be a part of the sample in gathering the data and information. So we're going to do a quick example. Here we have a pool and a group of people, and it says that a local pool can only have 15 people in the pool at one time. But on a really hot day, 45 people showed up to go swimming. So not all 45 people can go swimming, only 15 of those can. So the lifeguard is told they have to choose 15 people to go swimming. So we have to find out, what is the population of this group of people? Who is the population? So the population is going to be these 45 people, because that is the whole group. 45 people who want to swim. Now, it doesn't matter if there are 46 people and that 46th person doesn't want to swim, they just want to hang out by the poolside. We only need to know about the 45 people who want to go swimming. Because out of those 45 people, we need to choose 15 people who are actually going to go swimming. So when it asks what our sample is, we need those 15 people who can go swimming. So it is the 15 people And again, it doesn't matter if they're hanging out by the pool, it's the 15 people who will be in the pool. So, our next question asks, if the lifeguard just chooses the first 15 people who show up, would that be a random sample? Now we have to think back to our definition. That is where each person has an equal opportunity to go swimming. Now if he only chooses the first 15 people in that lineup, we have to ask ourselves, is that an equal opportunity? Does the third person in line, have the same opportunity to go swimming as the 8th person? Does the 8th person and the 23rd person have the equal opportunity? This is going to be a no. Because while that 3rd and that 8th person might have the same opportunity, that 8th and the 23rd person will not have that same opportunity because they're in different portions of the line. So we have to ask ourselves, how might this lifeguard achieve a random sample of this population? How might he be able to choose 15 random people? So when we think about this, one way is he could put everyone's names in a hat and choose randomly. He could also assign everyone a number and choose a random number. Now there are multiple different ways. These are just two very simple examples. But regardless, these two ways are going to give you a random sample if he truly just closes his eyes and chooses a random number or name out of a hat 15 times. Now, like I said, there could definitely be more than one way. If you think of some, that's great. But we're going to move on to this next example. It asks, a school wants to know how much students spend on school lunch on average. So how much money do students spend on a school lunch on average? So I want you to pause the video here and give this a try. Think back to our definitions, have those open while you look through and think about the problem itself. But go ahead and take a pause now and give this a try. Okay, so if you hit play, I'm assuming that you've done your very best to solve the following 3 questions relating to this problem. So again, it is asking us how we're going to find out how much students spend on school lunch on average. So we have to ask ourselves, what is the population of this study? Who are we looking at as a whole? We're looking specifically on students. But it's not just students. It is those who spend money on school lunch. Those who get school lunch. That is very important. Because for the sake of the study, it doesn't matter if a student brought his lunch from home because then he's not spending any money on a school lunch. And that's just going to sway the data. We are specifically looking at people who buy lunch at school. So our sample of the study It doesn't explicitly state how many people or who. Our sample is going to just be the students that we gather the data from. So our sample for this study is going to be the students who we record how much they spent. So it is students we record how much they spend. So the next question asks us, how can the school achieve a completely random sample? So there are, again, many different ways that the school can achieve a random sample. One way would be doing a random number generator. Where they have a random number generator, choose some random numbers and the person in that line, that's who you record. The school could also do like every third person in line. And many other different ways, because this question doesn't have a obvious answer. There are multiple different solutions to how the school can achieve a random sample. So if you have an idea that wasn't mentioned, feel free to leave it in the comments below. But other than that, I hope I will see y'all next time. Bye!